Hello, this is Arturelia Gaming Room Reviews. I'm Arturo, and today I'll be reviewing...
Aren't you Maria?
After I finished Silent Hill 1, I wanted to jump right into Silent Hill 2. While the game itself is pretty expensive on the PS2, I ended up finding, well, a cheaper version of the game. Yes, and that is the Xbox version. While I heard the Xbox version, it's not the best version, but it's probably the more decent one to play besides the other ones that came after the Xbox. While not, I guess, technically as perfect as the PS2, it's still basically the same game. So once I jumped onto it, what do I think of the second Silent Hill game? A lot of people say this is the better one in the series. Well, that's why you're here. Today I'll be reviewing Silent Hill 2. Let's go. Besides the main character in the first game, this takes a different route from the previous one. We follow a new character by the name of James as he goes to Silent Hill due to the fact that he got a note from his deceased wife? What?
That's impossible!
Nothing is impossible!
So he goes there to see if he could find his wife. I gotta tell you now, that is the most impossible thing I have ever seen. Clone number 2, please let me finish. Don't interrupt. Well, why'd you let clone number 3 interrupt the last time you did a review? Yeah, you let me interrupt like how many times? And I'll keep doing it again if I want. Why not we talk about Red Dead Revolver? Guys, please let me finish. But as he goes into Silent Hill, and like the first game, we're gonna find some weird stuff about the town, which he will run into some creatures, obviously, but also some characters that are actually there in the town itself. Though there's a reason why I guess you could say they all are there. But as the story progresses, we get to see even more twisted sides of Silent Hill and what it actually brings out from the human's consciousness. The story itself is pretty psychological, just like the first one, but more of the mind of James and other things that hint to his past and problems in the game. But on top of that, it also shows these other characters' issues that they have dealt with, and the town seems to reflect that, just like with James. And on top of that, the game is not afraid to go into adult content, though this is the first time we get our lovely Pyramid Head, the most iconic video game villain. The characters here, besides James, going through their problems, you got this guy that potentially is hiding something with what's going on with him. Then you got this woman that has a lot of issues, but there's a big reason for her mental problem. The little girl, which is a mysterious, and let's just say when she's there, you do get a reveal about why she's there and how old she is. And I'm gonna stop right there. You're gonna spoil it. Shut up. Then you have Maria, which is not Mary, his wife, his deceased wife, but Maria. She looks exactly like his deceased wife, but very different. And yes, there's a lot of mystery about her. That is, if you play her extra chapter. While you play as her, we get a slight info, sort of how she ended up there, but not quite. But if you played the main plot, then you can kind of hint to why she's there. It's a bit of a spoiler territory, so I won't go that far. But it's an interesting chapter, or at least a side story prior to her meeting up with James. Overall, the characters are fine. I think what I do like about this game is how the characters go through a lot of mental issues and psychological problems. And it just shows the human nature of people's issues. I think what the town represents is their subconscious and what is reflecting their problems. especially with James since we play as him throughout the game. The soundtrack in this game, I really love the soundtrack. Such catchy tunes. Even the intro song is so awesome. I really like it. Other songs here and there with the horror feel and coziness. I'm not crazy about how the intro was put together with the song. I felt like it would have been better if there was something else. I mean, do you get what I mean? It's just them talking. Well, at first, there's no audio. However, I guess when you beat it the first time, there's audio with them talking from the scenes in the game, which actually does make it better with the song playing, but I feel like there could have been a better impactful type of music video. But that's just me. I feel like the first game's intro was better how it was handled. As for the gameplay overall, while kind of similar to the first game, it exceeds it in a lot of ways. It's kind of like Metal Gear Solid to the gameplay. The second game that came around exceeded a lot from the first one. Same deal here. Fighting is pretty simple. Shooting up enemies, same deal. Finding items, same deal. Picking up items, same deal. You could also do what you did in the first game, avoid enemies. I'm gonna say though, the puzzles here, I tried to figure them out myself this time around and it's pretty good, but the reason for that is that you could also change the settings. I actually put it on normal, so it was simpler. Like the first game, there's also multiple different endings, and while you could say that this game is technically not connected to the first game at all, I could consider each ending canon. But it's left up to your interpretation how you want the game to end, as I could see it either way, except for the goofy one. As for the gameplay mechanics, overall the gameplay is just as good and better as the first one, but my remote is an Xbox remote. I had a used Xbox remote that has a cord, but apparently those remotes tend to break easily, and it broke. So I had to use this big remote, which for its size, yeah, I'm not crazy about these big fat remotes, but overall I got used to it. My problem for a bit was the fact of how the tank controls worked in this game. While using the analog stick, it was kind of a problem at first, and I ended up using these sort of buttons to move around, pressing down on this button to run, just like in the first game. At this point, the game would literally make me feel dizzy because of the turns, though I don't know if that was just my neck. But in time, I got very used to the tank controls and the camera movements that by the end didn't bother me. And yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I had fun playing the game. Got really involved. So you will get used to all these mechanics and stuff that I had an issue with at first. Inventory, you could store up a lot like the first one. More munitions, shotguns, rifles, kind of same deal as the first one. Make sure you save up those munitions. But you can also, at some points in the game, get Pyramid Head's weapon, though it's really heavy, so it takes a few seconds to actually hit your opponent. The menu offers you, well, this basically. So yeah, the gameplay mechanics are pretty good. I mean, it takes time to get used to the controls while moving around with the analog stick, as James' character will move it a little slowly due to the turns. I will say, I did like some of the levels that you played in the first game. Some were better than others, in my book. This is kind of the same deal. There are certain places that I like to explore more than others, like mostly the streets of Silent Hill, the prison, but otherwise, they were okay. It really just depends on how you feel about the certain levels. I did have fun each time going into different places and making sure I found everything. You do need to explore, just like Silent Hill, to find items to progress through puzzles. Some are, like I said, simple to aggravating. I will say, when you do beat this game again, you do get a chainsaw, which is cool. It actually kills the enemies pretty fast, at least from what I've seen. As for multiplayer, there is none. Nada. Now, for the time to complete it, this game may be a little longer than the first one, but that all depends on the puzzles and you exploring, so yeah, that will take up your time. As for replay value, here's the thing. If you get the original PS2 version, there is no extra content. The Xbox version did. When I played it the first time, I was satisfied with what I got. But there are always other options to play it again and get a different ending. On the other hand, though, if you do get the Xbox version or even the greatest hit version for the PS2, there are, like I said, more extra additions. Maria's Chapter. So like the first game, you could come back and replay it to do certain things a little differently, which is pretty cool. They did come out with a greatest hit version of the PS2, which adds all the extra features. But like I said, the PS2 version, both the original or the greatest hits, are mega expensive. The Xbox version that I got had the extra features, while I will say the Xbox version had some music lags at points, and on top of that, a few other slight lags. It's nothing that will ruin the experience for you. I just know that the PS2 version probably is more powerful to run this game because it was made for this game, though graphically it does look nice. Silent Hill 2 does exceed a lot from the first game, I will say. Both are great in their own way. Different story, technically not really connected, except for the town of Silent Hill. This game has a more psychological feel of mental illness or committing sins and just the human problem. And all this could probably relate to people in a lot of ways. I personally enjoyed this game. While it can be very weird and play with your head on what is real and what is not, it makes you question what is really going on. It gives you that mystery. It makes you question something that you've done so awful. And Silent Hill seems to show every character in this game the sins that they have done or express their mental problems. This game has a really deep story to it. On top of that, you have Pyramid Head. I mean, when he's not doing this, he's at least looking creepy, chasing you, or trying to kill you. Yeah. Overall, I will give it a 9 out of 10. It is a better game. I actually like both in their own ways. But obviously, Silent Hill 2 features a lot more content. Kind of the same like with Metal Gear Solid 2. It improves the gameplay mechanics. While some are the same, there are a lot more stuff you can do. And yeah, that's Silent Hill 2 for you. As for my recommendations, obviously Silent Hill 3, Silent Hill 4, and then I guess the others, which I heard were not as good. But yeah, if you want another psychological horror, there's obviously Tokyo Dark that plays with your insanity. I can't think of any other horror. Oh wait, Internal Darkness, definitely. But those are the horror games I can think of as of now that kind of relate to this, and obviously the sequels. Well, this is Arturelia Gaming Room Reviews, signing off. Huh? Who are you?
Oh, hello,
What's your name?
well, my name is, Arturo number 3. I'm a clone of the original Arturo, but I'm a cowboy.
I see. Well, how did you end up here?
Well, I don't know how I got here, and I'm a bit scared because, there's some weird things in this, town, weird horses, some sort of stuff that I really hate are just showing up all in front of me. It's kind of scary, but I've got my gun here. I'm able to boom, 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 sort of deal. What about you?
Oh, well, I'm here looking for my wife.
Your wife? You're looking for your wife? Well, I haven't seen her if you, are asking me that. I haven't seen any, wives. But, I hope you find her.
Thank you. Well, I really don't think this will be the best place for you. I'm only here because I'm looking for her.
Yeah, I would really like to get out of here, but I don't know where Arturo or the other three went. I'm very scared. I just want to go to Red Dead Revolver or Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2's world, not Silent Hill.
Okay. Just calm down now.
No. You calm down, mister. Bye-bye.